Usually, I try to make these videos as fun as possible because I believe laughter is the best medicine, but today I have some insights for you that might require a more serious tone because South Park just did something they never do. They missed an episode. And this is only the second time in the history of the show that's ever happened. Now, normally, South Park is an anomaly in animation. While other cartoons take months to finish a single episode, Trey and Matt are famous for cracking out a full one in just 6 days.
There's a show on this Wednesday. We don't even know what it is. And like even though that's the way we've always done it, there's this little thing going, oh, you're screwed. You're screwed.
That's why they can hit harder and faster than anyone else when it comes to the current event, and that's the reason they've managed to stay relevant for all these years. Lately, they decide to push a 14-day schedule just to allow more breathing room to finish production without rushing, but here's the downside. When you push things to the last second, sometimes, well, you miss. At least, that's the official story this week. Episode 5 of season 27 was supposed to air last night. Instead, Trey and Matt admitted, apparently, when you do everything in the last minute, sometimes you don't get it done. This one's on us. And I'm not buying that. It only happened once before, back in season 17, Goth Kids 3. It got scrapped because of studio power outage. That was a valid reason, that was out of their hands, but this time, it's different. This time, they just didn't make it. What are the odds that the first time they simply didn't make it is right after such a big political event? And not just any event, one that featured a person they had on an episode just a few weeks ago. I personally found that episode hilarious, and I know Charlie loved the show, and this was his response to it.
First of all, I just think it's hilarious. And secondly, the whole thing is like, wait, so a campus thing I've been doing for 13 years to debate random college kids has now been so important that it gets prominent primetime placement on Comedy Central. I think the whole thing is just awesome. Comedy Central, South Park, you crushed the water. I compulsively drink water on campus. It's like, okay, boom, we gotta stay hydrated.
The episode has now been pulled from the regular rerun schedule. That shows they were affected by this in some sense. And that's where I draw my argument from. If nothing had changed, I wouldn't go on this route. But since they pulled it, without anyone calling for it, it says a lot. I believe they had planned an episode that was too inappropriate in this current political landscape. Too inflammatory, given the events of last week. I don't think any topic should be censored by South Park, but it's not always about the topic. Sometimes it's about timing. In politics and comedy, we often lose sight of the real goal. It's about making the world a better place, having tough conversations about difficult topics. Comedy isn't just shitting on people you disagree with. It's also knowing when it adds to the conversation and when it's just throwing unnecessary fuel to an already blazing hot fire. And that's what I think is the real reason. Not that they had to self-censor, but because they knew it was the right call. And I'm not saying that they're straight up lying, because it probably is correct that they didn't finish it in time, but it probably was because they had to rewrite or even scrap the entire episode and make a new one. The counter argument to my point here would be that South Park works right up to the deadline, which means that if something huge happens in the real world, they can literally change the episode overnight. But with how insane the political landscape has been this week, you have to wonder, was it just a missed deadline? Or did something they were animating suddenly hit a little close to home? And it wasn't just a few scenes that they had to change? Because it wouldn't be the first time that Trey and Matt scrapped or even reworked an idea because it was a little too hot to air. And considering how directly they've been going after the real politician in this season, it wouldn't be crazy to think that they were forced to pull a little bit back, even rewrite, or maybe just entirely scrap the episode. Officially, the new episode is now set for Wednesday, September 24, and the season will keep rolling through October and December, but still, it makes you think. Well, at least, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? Was this really just a case of South Park not finishing in time, or did politics once again bleed a little too far from the show into reality? Let me know your take in the comments down below. I'm excited to hear what you guys think. And of course, hit subscribe if you want more of these South Park breakdowns, because whatever is coming next week, it's going to be very interesting. So thank you guys so much for watching. Love you. See you next week.